Hello you guys, I'm just going to make a video showing you all some pictures and stuff that I have, or I don't have, my mom has, that my dad's sister gave to her. She's 84 years old, and so every year for Christmas, I don't know why, I kind of think she does it out of thinking that she might pass away, and it just kind of makes sense. I can't explain it. But anyways, she sends my mom pictures every year for Christmas. And I'm over here in my mom's trailer, and I just wanted to show y'all some stuff around her trailer right fast before I sit down and showed you some of these pictures. But she makes out of like these little board things, these little family members' names, her grandchildren's names, and hangs them on the wall. So this is my oldest daughter here. Her name's Tessa. And then my youngest daughter, excuse me, I burped. My youngest daughter's name is Isabella, and that's her name. And then my nephew's names is Rylan and Jack, and she doesn't have my niece's name up, I don't think, unless, yes, she does. It's hidden behind there. And then she's got this over here that she made. Now these pictures here is not pictures of actual people in her family, I don't think. It's just pictures that the original owners to this trailer had this frame right here, and so she wanted to keep it as a keepsake, and so and use it. So she put all these pictures that reminded her from her time period, her childhood, inside of here. These pictures and stuff is like a collage. And she does sewing and stuff, and she's a little bit of a hoarder. And so anyways, I'm gonna sit down here and show you guys these pictures. This is my mom's trailer. So this used to be the neighbor's trailer. I got a nightgown on too. So let me see if I can kind of record and show you guys some of these pictures. This is at one of my dad's side's family reunions that my uncle used to have next door in his garage years ago. And they are playing bluegrass. Y'all know I'm from Kentucky. And so this right here behind here is one of my cousins. This is my dad here. This was from years ago. So this was like back in the 2000s. And then here's the neighbor playing bluegrass music. He plays bluegrass gospel music. He used to travel and play. And there's somebody else that's playing with him. He does play fiddle. His nickname is Beanie, but his real name is Winford. Winford Blair is his name, his real name. So any of y'all that's into country music or bluegrass music, you might know him from years ago, which he's still alive. He would be a real old man now. And then here's my dad years ago. That's what my dad looks like. And then here is my cousin, my other cousin, and they're dancing together. They're dancing to bluegrass music at a family reunion on my dad's side. So let me set this here. Now this was back in like, let me see if she has, no, she don't have the year wrote down. My aunt, usually my dad's sister, half sister, she's usually really good about writing the dates and the names on the back of pictures and stuff, because all these used to belong to her. And like I said, I think what she's doing as you get into old age and stuff, a lot of times, which I don't blame her at all, she has been doing this for the past 4 or 5 years, ever since her husband passed away. She gives people pictures that used to belong to her. You know, she's trying to declutter or whatever at Christmas time. So anyways, we'll start over here. This is me, and this was back whenever I was still dyeing my hair a little bit. And I only had my oldest daughter. And I still had breasts, as you can see. But this is me when, I don't know, probably about, I'm guessing about 2006 or 7 maybe. I'm really not sure. But might have been 2005. But that's what I used to look like. And then here's my oldest daughter. I didn't have my youngest daughter. This is my oldest daughter when she was about 3 years old. Sorry it's not coming in very clear. This is my dad. And then this is my sibling, my brother. That's my mom. This is my niece. And my niece and my oldest daughter are the same age. And then this is my brother's first baby's mama. That's my niece's mom. Okay, next picture. This is my dad and my granny, his mom. She did have my dad and my uncle. She had my dad first, obviously. It was her second marriage too. And she had my dad at age 40. And she had my uncle at age 41. So this one right here is my uncle, my bad. They kind of looked alike when they were younger. This is my uncle here. And he's holding a little dog. This is kind of the aesthetic houses used to look like back in the 60s and 70s and 50s. And then this is my dad here. And I don't know, I'm assuming they were probably, says 1963, I think. 1963 to 1964 is the date. Like I said, my aunt is really good about writing down dates and names usually. So, I don't know if this is the house that's next door to me. I'm assuming it is. The brick house, what it used to look like when they were younger. I'm assuming they were probably back about 7 or 8, maybe 9 or 10 years old. I'm not really sure. But that's my uncle. And his name is Jeffrey Adams, but they call him Bodine. You know, just like the Beverly Hillbillies. But anyways, this is my dad. My dad's name is Woody. Well, his actual name is Hal, but he calls himself Woody. He always has. So, I don't know why it is, but he does. So, anyways, his actual name is Hal, though, but he never ever uses that name. And maybe someday he will tell you a story, I don't know, about why he doesn't use that name. This is my mom and my dad whenever they were younger and just, I'd say, just married. There's no date on it or nothing. But this is what my mom used to look like. And then this is what my dad used to look like. So, that's them. I don't know if they were recently married or if they were dating in high school or what. And then over here, we'll start over on this side. This was a different family reunion that was at my uncle's house that's next door that used to be my grandpa's house. And this right here is my mom here. That's my oldest daughter there. This is my dad here. And then I am right here. That's what I used to look like. Okay, next picture. There's my house right there. So you can kind of see where this is at. That's my oldest daughter. That's my mom. That's me right there. And then here is my uncle's house that used to be my grandpa's. That's my dad right there. Okay. This right here picture is a picture of my dad. I think it's the last mines that he worked at when he was working in the coal mines. But I could be wrong. And I'm assuming this was probably about the year 2014. And I don't know who these other people are. I just know that this is my dad here. So, it's kind of blurry. I'm assuming, I can't really make out the name of the coal mine, but I'm assuming that would be back in 2014. Because about 2014, United Coal Company rules to live by, it says on the sign. So in 2014, that's whenever, I think it was Obama was president. I could be wrong. And he was wanting to do that clean coal junk. And so, in my opinion, I think that's what put out a lot of the coal mines and miners out of jobs around here. And so that's probably the last place that he worked at was back in 2014. And so this is a picture of him in his, I guess on lunch break, in his mining outfit, what a miner would wear inside the mines. I'm assuming all these are inside miners. But that's what he used to look like. Okay, this right here is a picture of my dad and my oldest daughter when she was younger, on the pond when it was frozen. So it's a long time ago. Most of these are multiple pictures of the same thing, and most of these are older pictures. Okay, starting on this side is a picture of my dad on that side by side that's tore up in the front yard now to my mom's trailer. Excuse me. And this right here picture of this little girl in the middle here, sitting beside my dad, is a little girl, and I forgot her name, but it was a little girl that was around the same age as my youngest daughter at the time, and my cousin was trying to foster her and trying to adopt her, but then my cousin lives in Lexington, Kentucky, and at that time, that foster family ended up getting custody back of the little girl, but my cousin and her husband was trying to adopt her out. This is my youngest daughter back then. And the year was November the 4th of 2018 when that was taken. I forgot that little girl's name though. I think it was like, I don't even want to say because I can't really remember, to be honest. But this is my youngest daughter right here. And that's my dad. Okay, this next picture is over at a different family reunion. They're forever. We used to do family reunions over my uncle's yard and his garage. So on my dad's side. These pictures come from my dad's side of the family, from his sister, half sister. So there's going to be a lot of pictures, obviously, from his side of the family. So here's my dad back then. I don't know what the year is or nothing. I just know it was from a long time ago. There's my mom. And there I am. I'm holding my oldest daughter. And the year is September the 17th, 2005. So my oldest daughter was born in 2004. So alright, let's go. And they always have family reunions on my dad's side in September. So here is a picture of my cousin that was trying to foster care and adopt that little girl out for a while. Her name is Sherry. And you're going to see a lot of pictures of that family in here because that is the aunt who gave these pictures. This is her only daughter here. And then this right here is a picture of me in the blue and light blue and dark blue checked shirt. And then this is my cousin. I can't make it out on which cousin that is, to be honest. I think it's my cousin. I can't tell, to be honest. That's bad. I can't tell. And then there's my dad. I don't know what I'm doing. And then this is my cousin, Laura. She moved away from here a couple years ago or so. She lives in Georgetown, Kentucky now. And here is my other cousin. And it doesn't say the year, but it was at a family reunion. Most of these are from family reunions of years ago. Okay, here's another picture here of my dad. This is my brother beside of him. There's my mom. There's my niece. There I am. And then here's my oldest daughter. It doesn't have the year on it. Then we got This little itty bitty picture they used to give out. People used to put these little tiny pictures in lockets. So if I can get it to make out clear here. I can't hardly get it to do clear. It's probably might be the best you can get on this picture, but this is like a family portrait from a long time ago where people used to do family portraits and stuff, and all matching outfits before it even became a thing from photographers and stuff that would come in here, especially like with mining families and stuff back then when the coal mines was doing good. But this is whenever I was probably about in the 4th grade, because it seems like I had a perm back then and I was wearing glasses and I was such a dork. But you can't hardly make it out. It's so tiny and stuff, and there's no date on it. I can't get the camera to come in any clearer. Okay, starting over here. If I can get it to come in clear. That's a picture of me when I was a little girl, and I'm at my grandpa's house next door. I think I had to be about 5 years old, I'd say, because I'm pretty sure my granny, my dad's mom, did not live past me being 5 years old. And so I was probably at least 4 or 5 years old in that picture there. That's a picture of me there, though. And then there's a picture of my brother, my sibling. And then there's my granny. And she did pass away from pancreas cancer, I believe is what kind she had. And that's like the least curable. And I don't even think there is a cure for that kind of cancer. But I'm pretty sure she probably had to have that in this picture when she's holding this. That's so weird looking though. I just don't seen that. Right there is the couch behind me right there. I remember that couch. That blue plastic filling couch, like that floral couch. And you can also see it underneath of us, like right there beside of us. But you don't see her body. That's so her bottom half of her body. I don't see her half of her body there holding us. I just now noticed that. But this was the year, it was 6/6/1985. I don't remember too much, to be honest, about my granny. I remember the day that I was told that she passed away, though. I remember that in every detail. And I remember her one time taking it for me. That's a different story for a different day, but I don't remember too much about her, though, to be honest. I mostly have a type of memory where I remember long-term things, and I remember, like, the negative negative events or whatever. Anyways, here's a picture of my oldest daughter. I think she's the one in the little dress, the white dress. And this had to be at a different family reunion. Here's one of my cousins, little cousins, from up in Ohio. His daughter and stuff. So I guess, I don't know what that would make her, but she's my cousin too. And that's a different part of Ohio family on my dad's side than what it is on my mom's side. Excuse me, my voice is starting to get a little bit hoarse. Anyways, here's a picture of me, what I used to look like right here. And it doesn't have the complete date on it. It's always around September, though. That side of the family reunions. And then here is a picture of my oldest daughter. She is in a Rainbow Brite outfit costume. I used to love Rainbow Brite growing up, and my mom always used to make my outfits and my siblings too outfits for Halloween or anything handmade. And so here's my oldest daughter wearing that rainbow bra outfit that I had whenever I was growing up. And that is my aunt that sent these pictures down. This is her husband that passed away. And that was in 2007 when that was taken. Okay, here's a picture of my oldest daughter when she was a baby. There's a picture of me. There's a picture of her dad beside of me there. A side view, and that was in September 18th, 2004. Alright, here's another family reunion. I don't really know who every one of these people are, but here's my little cousin here. She doesn't live around here either no more. She moved to Lexington or Georgetown. Her name's Mallory. This is my oldest daughter here. And here I am again, right here. Here is a picture of my cousin. This is a picture of me. I'm covering my face because, believe it or not, I actually hate pictures. Especially pictures been taken of me. So, and then this is my dad's half-sister here. This woman here. She lives up in, most of my dad's side of the family are from, if they don't live around here, they're from usually Cincinnati or northern Kentucky and stuff. For the most part anyways. But here's one of his half-sisters. Her name is Judy. I'm pretty sure she's still alive. And then there's Judy's granddaughter, Erin. But I'm covering my face up in this picture because I do not usually like to have pictures taken of me. But that's what I used to look like. And that was back in 2005. September the 17th, 2005. Here is a picture of my niece, and I don't know who these other people are here. I can't make them out, but in the background here, this woman here, is, I probably ain't pronouncing her name right, but they're divorced anyways now. That's my cousin Cameron, and he moved off to Lexington, and, Tashal, I think is how you pronounce her name. She's really nice, but they are divorced now. But that's a picture of who that is. And then that's my aunt's husband who passed away, who gave all these pictures to my mom. And then that's my cousin, Jimmy Lance, there. It doesn't have the date on it. And then there's a picture of my oldest daughter, I think. I can't really make it out. It's not very clear. But yeah, that's a picture of my oldest daughter from years ago at this family reunion. Same thing here. It's my oldest daughter there playing on trampoline. Here's my oldest daughter. And then here I am. That's what I used to look like. That was back in September 17th, 2005. So here's my oldest daughter. That's one of my my cousins, his daughter. Her name's Courtney. And there's my mom. And there's my dad. There I am. And there's my youngest daughter at this family reunion. This was September 17th, 2011, I think. Yeah, 2011. So starting on this side, this is my oldest daughter for Halloween one year. The reason why you might see a bunch of pictures of Halloween is because I used to take up my daughters and stuff up to see my aunt every year for trick-or-treating, to trick-or-treat her house on Halloween. So there's my oldest daughter when she was little. There's my mom. This is me. And I was working back then in these younger pictures. So I was working a lot as like a CNA, so I was working a lot of times and stuff. I was gone all the time and just working a lot because I was a CNA, and usually they would be people who don't want to work in that field and at a nursing home. And so I would take on a lot of hours, as many hours as I could, and that was October 31st, 2005. So here's a picture of me at another family reunion. I think this family reunion here was the one whenever they started having them over at my dad's garage. And the reason why it gets kind of wild on my dad's side of the family, the reason why we're in lingerie is because my aunt here, my Aunt Judy, one year she's like a comedian, and one year she brought in a bunch of lingerie just to give to all of us to wear. So that's why we're wearing lingerie. And so there I am. And then there's my Aunt Judy. And there's my cousin Ashley. And that's why we have the lingerie on. Because it gets a little bit wild on his side of the family. But they did quit having, for whatever reason, they quit having family reunions and stuff on really, well, no, my mom started it back a few years ago on her side, but my dad's side, they haven't had one in years. So here's a picture of my oldest daughter. Here's a picture of my youngest daughter. And then here's a picture of me. I'm trying to dress up like a zombie. I used to be real into The Walking Dead, and so I used to love it, and that's why I'm dressed up like a zombie from The Walking Dead, and that was back in 2012, I believe. And here is a picture of my oldest daughter, my cousin's little girl, my youngest daughter, and then a picture of me. Doesn't have the date on it. There's a picture of my cousin. There's a picture of me on the swing. And my youngest daughter. There's no date on that either. Here's a picture of my dad. Picture of me, my oldest daughter. I don't remember who this little girl is. It's probably like my cousin's, how do I say it? My cousin's first, I guess, I think it's my cousin's first wife because she is a lesbian. I could be wrong though, and her baby, but or they had her. She was fertile. How do you say that? She was a fertility baby. I'm really not. She had a sperm. I don't know how else to say it, and I'm not trying to be mean. I think she was a fertilized egg baby, like in a lab, or I don't really remember, but I'm pretty sure that's who that one is. And she did have like a sperm donor, so. And then that's my oldest daughter playing with her, and then there I am. There's my cousins, my little cousins, and on my dad's side. And I'm sorry if I'm not saying that the correct way. I don't know how else to say it. So here I am again, and then there is my aunt's that gave these pictures, her granddaughter, and then here is my oldest daughter, and then I don't know who this little girl is, but that's my cousin's little girl right there in the pink. And that was back in 2006 at a family reunion. So there's my cousins, and then my cousin's wife, she's already passed on. She passed away not too long after that picture, actually. And then there's a picture of me, and then there's my aunt, and there it is. That was back in 2005. Here's a picture of my dad. There's a picture of me. Now, I was like 17 years old in this picture here, so this was from a very, very long time ago. That's what I used to look like. It doesn't have the date. And then here's a picture of me when my hair started growing back out after I had cancer, and so it was probably back in 2017, and I was able to eat again and stuff in this picture here, and it was around Easter time, because I remember hunting Easter eggs with my cousins. Little girl that she was trying to foster care and adopt out, and also my youngest little girl. And then this was the same time. There's my cousin. She used to be a nurse, but she got too blind to see. She has that on her side of the family, her dad's side of the family. They have that incurable blindness disease that's called RP, and there's no cure for it. So she had to quit nursing. She used to be an RN, and then there's me. It's blurring up though, so you're not able to make it out or nothing. But my mom has it too on her side of the family, but not on my dad's. That blindness disease, RP is what it's called. Here's me with my oldest daughter at a family reunion. You can kind of see there. Then there's my cousin, and there's my other two cousins there. And that was the year 2004. Then here's a picture of me, and here's a picture of my cousin. My little cousin's what I call them when they're younger than me. She doesn't live around here no more either. She lives in Lexington. Most of that family's moved up north. And then here is her mom. She's my cousin too. And then I don't know what child that is behind her. I can't make it out in this picture, but that's at a different family reunion from a long time ago on my dad's side. Here's a picture of me, and then here's a picture of my oldest daughter. No, that's my youngest daughter. So that was probably about 2000 and I don't know for sure, 2011 or 12 probably. Here's a picture of my dad. Here's a picture of me when I was probably about, I don't know, probably about 3 years old, 4 years old, somewhere. And here's a picture of my brother, and it looks like we was at some kind of zoo or something. Might have it wrote on the back here, y'all. Cincinnati Zoo. So that was in 1984 is when that was taken. So a long time ago. I have a lot of family on my dad's side that live up around Cincinnati, in Ohio, and also around Lexington, Georgetown, Cynthiana, places like that in Kentucky, up northern Kentucky. Here's a picture of me at my dad's other sister's house, but she's already passed on, and her house did get flooded. This one it's taken a picture of back in the July flood of 2022, but this is a picture of me here at Christmas time. And I can't make out the people behind here. it says February 86 is the year that was. So I was born in 1981. I was about, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old or something. I don't know. I'm not good at math or numbers. Anyways, here's a picture of me again at Christmas time when I was a little toddler. I'm here in this little black velvet dress. This is my sibling here. I think that's my granny. Could be wrong. That's reaching her arm out, trying to reach something to me. But I can't make it out for sure. And it says 83, I think, is the year. Here's a picture of me as a baby. You can tell by the green carpet that what was the style and stuff back then, and the paneling walls. Everybody had that shag looking carpet back then. That's what the style was. Here's a picture of me as a baby. Here's a picture of my sibling. And it was 1982, March 14th, 1982. So here's a picture of my dad, 1982. Picture of me as a baby and a picture of my sibling. Here's a picture of me. Doesn't have the year. Here's that same picture again of me and my dad. And I know I was about 17 years old in this picture here. Here's a picture of me and my mom. This was, I know that was my senior year in high school because I was getting my hair done for prom. Here's a picture of me. There's a picture of me and my cousin. Here's a picture of me. Doesn't have the year. Here's another picture of us at a family reunion. Like I said, it can be wild sometimes on my dad's side of the family, and that was the year that my aunt here in the Y, she brought in all kinds of lingerie for some reason. I don't know why, but we was putting it on ourselves, and then here I am. I'm holding somebody's little dog or something. And then there's my aunt, one of my aunts, and then there's my dad's sister, and then that's my cousin's wife. I forgot her name, but they had just gotten married. She was real nice, and then that's my cousin there. So, it doesn't have the year, I don't think. Yeah, it does. It was back in 2012 was when that was taken. Here's a picture of me. Here's a picture of my dad's sister. There's a picture of my cousin. There's a picture of my mom in the back in the green. My aunt. Well, she's actually a cousin. This one here in the black. There's a picture of me. I always think this aunt or cousin, I keep calling her aunt. She's actually a cousin. I always think she looks like Meryl Streep whenever she loses weight and stuff. She looks like Meryl Streep. or whatever. And she actually acts at like local places in her community and stuff too. And she's real funny. But anyways, here I am. I'm always feeding my face. And then here's my cousin, her sister. Those two are sisters. And then that's her daughter beside of her oldest daughter, but you can't see her. Here's my dad's sister again. There's my cousin. Here I am. These pictures are sticking together a little bit. Here's my cousin. Now, me and her are the same age. This one here. Her name's Ashley, and me and her are the same age. Then that's my cousin's wife. He just got married to that year. My dad's sister, my cousin, and me. I can't make out what kind of dog I'm holding. I guess I'm trying to be like Paris Hilton or something and hold a little doggy. I don't know what I'm trying to do. But it doesn't have the year wrote down on it. Then this here is my sibling. This is me from behind. And one of my cousins. Now, he passed away back in... The woman who gave these pictures to my mom, my dad's sister, my aunt, this is her oldest son here that's walking. And he passed away back in 2022, I think. I could be wrong. But he passed away. Then here is a picture of me. This is on a train, dinner train thing that happened back in 2023. And I had to cut my hair back off short again because where I was having seizures and it got so knotted up and stuff when I was in the hospital. So that's a picture of me there. That's that Kentucky dinner train thing. And it happened on 12/9/2023. Here's a picture of me here with this mask on and the yellow shirt. This is whenever we was in Charleston, South Carolina. And this is my cousin on my mom's side. Her name's Casey. And we was on a trip through a bus touring company in Charleston, South Carolina. So that was April the 5th of 2022. This right here is a picture of me on that bus touring company of trip to Charleston, sitting on the bus to see the lighthouses. I didn't know she was taking these pictures, but that's what they are. It was 4/5/2022. Here's a picture of my mom. This was on that same trip to Charleston, South Carolina, with the bus touring company or whatever. And that thing did go out of business. And then here I am too, getting myself a big old plate. And then I don't know who this woman is. It's just some woman that was on that bus touring trip. Here is a picture of my cousin that my aunt that sent these pictures down. This is her daughter. And then this is me in the middle here. This is my cousin here on my mom's side. Her name's Casey. And then this cousin's name is Sherry. And then I'm in the middle. This right here was at Savannah, Georgia. It was a dinner that they hosted for that bus touring company. And I forgot the name of that restaurant. But I believe that they said that that was the oldest building where we ate that one time dinner. It was the oldest building in Savannah, Georgia, I believe. So I can't remember the name of it though. Can you? You can't either. But yeah, I don't remember the name of it. But yeah, it was supposedly it was the oldest building in Georgia, or Savannah, Georgia, anyways. When we went on a trip through a bus touring company to see the lighthouses. Here I am in, I think that they stopped for a minute. I can't remember where at, but it was somewhere in South Carolina at one of those lighthouses near the beach, I believe. And there I am taking a picture, and that's just some random woman that was on that bus touring company trip. That was back in 4/7/2022. Then here is my mom. This is the aunt that sent all these pictures down, my dad's sister. This is her, and then here's her daughter. And this was on that Savannah, or it was a Charleston, and it was also Savannah trip to see the lighthouses. You can kind of see the lighthouse, I think, behind us. And then that's my cousin Casey there. And you can tell I do not like to have my picture taken. I'm still kind of like that, so I'm always hiding behind somebody or covering my face up or something. But that's her daughter there. That's my dad's sister, and then that's her daughter. They went on that trip with us. It was April 7th, 2022. And that's all the pictures that I've got to show. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks. Bye-bye.